Well, welcome everyone to the 9 rungs to fully funded life. And I am so excited to be able to serve you guys tonight. I really hope that at the end of this event, you really know exactly what your next financial decision is for you. And as always, this is presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, which started as a dream in my heart back in 2006 as a result of my own financial journey. And what I know is that most of us need a roadmap. And that's what tonight is all about, helping you identify the next step on your journey to live your fully funded life. It's going to be 9 rungs to your fully funded life, and I am super excited to serve you today. As we dive into the content portion, I want you to know a couple other things, that we have a hope for you. And our hope for you is that you are able to live what we call a fully funded life. Now, I wanted to take a second to be able to define what a fully funded life looks like. You may be able to identify with it just with the phrase, but really what we believe a fully funded life is being able to do, watch this, exactly what you've been put on earth to do, regardless of its cost or income potential. That's what we define a fully funded life as. And my question is, do you and are you living a fully funded life? Do you see yourself making progress towards that fully funded life? Do you believe that all of the plans, hopes, and dreams that you have in your heart are going to come true sometime in your life? Or do you feel like you're stuck? Maybe you're just struggling to make it to Thursday. See, we believe that all of us can live a fully funded life, that it's not just applicable to me or a few, but we believe it is applicable to all of us. That you truly can do exactly what you've been put on earth to do, regardless of how much it costs or the income potential it might have. And so let me ask a question. What does a fully funded life look like for you? Like for real, what does it look like for you? Now, it's interesting, when I talk to people about fully funded lives, it is wildly different for every single human being. You know, for some human beings, their fully funded life is to live at the end of a dead-end gravel road, that they would have 1,000 acres and no neighbors within 5 miles. That's what a fully funded life looks like for them. They want to live off of the grid, live off of the planet, and live off of the earth. And it doesn't cost much money other than acquiring that large ranch, obviously. But that's their fully funded life. Other people, they want to live in that beautiful community where their kids can run up and down the street and the sidewalks and ride their bikes and be able to mow that lawn. And that's their fully funded life. And they want to be able to pursue that career dream, or maybe it's to start a business. Others, the idea of mowing grass ever sounds appalling to them. They want to live in a condo on the beach, and that's kind of their fully funded life. And they want to be able to serve people who live in the beach communities. And that's their passion. I don't know what a fully funded life looks like for you, but here's what we do know. You probably have a good inclination of it. And here's what we do know that we have in common, is that your fully funded life will cost money, and it will probably take more money than what your bank account says that you have available to you right now. And so my goal in this event today is to help you identify your next step. Your next financial step. That's our goal for you. And the reason that we want to help you do that is because so many people, see if this is true for you. Many financial decisions, they seem to compete against each other. Think about this. Many financial decisions, they just seem to compete against each other. Let's look at a bunch of them that we commonly see. Like for instance, I see these questions happening all the time. Do I focus on paying off debt or saving money right now? Like they seem to be in conflict with one another. How do I buy a house? What stock do I invest in? How do I get my budget to work? See, it's all in our minds. All of these different questions at different times in our financial journey. Should I invest in my kids' college fund or my retirement fund? Because I can't do both. Maybe I can do both, but it doesn't feel like I can give them both equal weight. Is this a good deal relating to any purchase or any major next step? Another question that I get all of the time is, how do I get my spouse on the same page with me? That is a question for the ages. And let me tell you, if that's you, there's hope for you, because I used to be the non-participating spouse. What do I do with my tax refund? Should I refinance my mortgage? I want to give money away, but shouldn't I focus on paying off my debt instead and getting that done first? Well, I think this is interesting because we all are faced with questions and challenges in our finances that seem to be at odds with each other, that are in conflict with each other. And I want you to know this, that we all face this. This never goes away. It doesn't go away. You may be struggling right now and you're saying, Joe, if I could just achieve some level of stability, man, I would be happy. I would have it made. But I want you to know you'll still have financial challenges facing you. You may be stable and saying, man, I'm trying to achieve surplus in my life. I want to have more than enough. If I could just achieve that moment and retire, then I would never have any financial challenges. Well, it turns out you'll still have money challenges there too, and you'll have money questions, and things will compete with each other. And that's why it's so important from time to time to be able to have a roadmap for us to be able to say, what is the next good decision for me financially? We all need a financial roadmap. You know, as I was preparing this event, I was thinking of roadmaps, and I recalled the roadmap that my parents used to use whenever we would go on vacations. Do you remember the roadmap? That big giant road atlas? I had a Rand McNally. Does that look familiar to anybody? Did anybody ever use one of these? Maybe you could comment in the sidebar there whether or not you still use a road atlas when you're driving. It is fun to look at. You don't have to wait on a good internet connection, and it's very handy, and you can see a bigger picture. You know, but I remember the day when the internet came around and they had something called MapQuest. Anybody remember MapQuest? I mean, raise your hand if you remember MapQuest. And we would print out our instructions. And as we would drive down the road, I'd have like 7 pages of instructions and, you know, having to rifle through those. And I was looking down, which is not good when you're driving. And then they came out with a GPS. This was the #1 Christmas gift in the 90s, the late 90s. We would use these maps, right? And the maps, they went onto a GPS. Mine was this one. It was a TomTom. In fact, we recently moved offices, and I found my old TomTom that I used to drive from place to place with. I love that TomTom. Some of you had a Garmin, others used a Magellan. But wasn't it incredible how that roadmap helped us? And then they came out with the roadmap on our phones. All of a sudden, we could drive and we could talk and we could look at something on the internet all at the same time. It was amazing. You see, from time to time, our roadmaps, they need improved, but the ultimate goal of a roadmap, the ultimate goal is to help us get from point A to point B in the swiftest amount of time, in the safest manner possible. That's what a roadmap is for. And that's what this roadmap that I'm going to go through tonight is here to help you with. We call it the I was broke, now I'm not ladder. This ladder, I want you to think of this ladder. I'm going to teach it from rungs 1 to 9. And I want you, as you look at each rung and as I explain each rung, I want you to ask yourself the question for your personal financial situation. Where are you at on this ladder? Which things have you achieved and which things are yet to be achieved in your life? Because if you notice, rung number 9, that's where we're aiming. That's to live a fully funded life. And so if you're ready, I'm ready, let's climb this ladder. Let's start with rung number 1. Rung number 1 is to set goals. To set goals. You need to set goals for your life. So I want you to be honest with yourself. When is the last time you wrote down all of your plans, hopes, and dreams, those PhDs? I want you to have a PhD in your PhDs, your plans, hopes, and dreams. When was the last time you wrote those plans, hopes, and dreams down on paper? Like for real. Like, when is the last time in your adult life that you allowed yourself to truly dream? To sense those God-given plans, hopes, and dreams? You know, Psalm 37:4 is a great verse in the Bible, and it says that if you delight yourself in the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart. It's interesting that as you pursue God and his plans for your life, that calling, that you will have desires birthed in your heart. And sometimes they're unexplainable at the moment. You don't understand why you have these plans, hopes, and dreams. But it's so important to write down your plans, hopes, and dreams, to set goals. You see, we know a universal truth is that written plans, hopes, and dreams are much more likely to come true than those that are unwritten. You must set goals. Have you written yours down? And for those of you who have written yours down, when is the last time you've updated them? You see, if you don't know for a fact where you're headed, if you don't know what a fully funded life looks like for you, it will lead to a lot of focused wandering and a lot of anguish and frustration because you really don't know where you're headed. It's almost like going for a Sunday drive without that Rand McNally, if you like that. Or if you're still using your TomTom, get fired up, that's awesome. Or forgetting your phone at home and trying to figure it out as you go. It starts, your money journey truly should start with setting your plans, hopes, and dreams. And the question might be, Joe, I don't have any money. Like right now, I'm trying to make it to Thursday. And I would tell you this, don't make the mistake that so many people make, where they allow their bank account balance to dictate their plans, hopes, and dreams to them. Man, can I urge you, can I implore you today to let your dreams drive your bank account and your financial decisions, not the other way around. It starts with setting goals. Rung number 2 is this, to save money and start with 1 month of expenses. Now, many of you may have heard Dave Ramsey say to start with $1,000. That is a start. But I do encourage you to increase it to 1 month's worth of expenses. You know, I heard Dave saying that in the year 2000, and inflation has happened. And a way of inflation proofing your emergency fund is to save 1 month's worth of expenses and adjust that as your lifestyle adjusts. What is 1 month of expenses for you? You see, I want to encourage you to kind of write that down on some paper in front of you right now. How much money does it take for your household to operate for 1 month? Is it $3,000? Is it $2,100.31? Is it $10,100? Is it $31,000? I don't know what the number is for you, but I guarantee you, you know your number pretty close. And I encourage you to write that number down. And then I want you to ask yourself this question. In your savings account, in your online bank, in your envelope hidden in the drawer or under the mattress, do you have 1 month's worth of money saved for unplanned, unexpected expenses? Save money, start with 1 month of expenses. That's so huge because it is important for your financial journey. If you want stability in your journey, you must prioritize saving money. Start with 1 month's worth of expenses. The third step of the I was broke, now I'm not ladder is to invest enough to capture the full company match or $100 a month, whichever is greater. I want you to invest enough to capture the full company match or $100 a month, whichever is greater. Now we're going to leave that there for a second for you so you can do a screenshot. By the way, we are recording this. So if you want to watch this again or share it with your friends or family, you'll be able to do that. But I want you to invest enough to capture that full company match. Maybe by a show of hands in the Zoom window, you could say, I have a company retirement plan with a match. Who has a company retirement plan with a match? Okay, I see a lot of people raising their hands. That's awesome. And here's the question. Are you investing enough to get that full company match? Are you really? And the reason I press in and I lean in is because over half of American workers who have a company retirement plan available to them with a match, over half are not contributing enough to get the match. That's literally saying, I don't want free money. And I want you to get the free money. Like say, get the free money. Say that right now. Get the free money. I could hear that around the planet. That's awesome. And here's what I want you to know, that when you do that, then you will be able to see the power of compound interest start to work for you. You see, in March of this year, we saw the market go way down. It wasn't fun. March 23rd, 2021 is a day that will live in infamy for stock market investors. However, for those who stayed the course, you have been able to reap an abundance because you chose to invest. And this is the power of rung number 3, is it allows you to make a contribution, usually in a tax advantage manner, and then you can get a company match, which in many cases is 50% or it's a dollar for dollar match. It's either a 50% or 100% match instantly with your money, which allows you to be able to fund long-term dreams of your fully funded life, such as retirement or retirement early. Rung number 3, invest enough to capture the full company match. Or if you don't have a company retirement plan or a match, start with $100 a month, whichever is greater. Now, again, I want you to be looking at these rungs and saying, which ones of these I have achieved, which ones I have not. Let's go on up to rung number 4. That is where we get to focus on something that really has a lot of energy. And that is where we eliminate all non-house, non-business debt. Eliminate all non-house, non-business debt. That's so important. You know, this is a huge step. It's a monumental step. It's a step many people don't ever believe they can achieve. But this is all the student loan debt, the credit card debt, the truck debt, the I owe mom and dad or a brother, sister, or a friend type of debt. This is the boat. This is the four-wheeler. This is the side-by-side. This is the motorcycle. This is all of that debt that is something other than the house and other than business debt. You know, the average family right now has $38,000 of non-house, non-business debt. The average person right now is paying $750 to $1,500 a month in after-tax take-home pay to service this debt. And here's what's crazy. In just 12 to 36 months of focused attention, you can achieve rung number 4 and be done with it. You can be standing on rung number 4. How awesome would that be? You know, I want to tell you something that I knew, but I didn't know when I was attacking my debt. I knew that when I paid off my debt, that money that was going to service the debt, I would get to keep it, but I didn't know it. And I never forget my debt freedom journey when I got to rung number 4 in my own journey. I remember I was so fired up. I had 4 debts that I was tackling, big ones. I had a truck debt. I had a car debt. I had student loan debt. I know a lot of us have that. And I had credit card debt. I had student loan debt, 2 car payments, a truck and a car, and that credit card debt. And I remember when I added it all up, it was the first time ever that I had really recognized my total indebtedness. And my goodness, it got my eyes really big. And I got furious. I was ashamed. I was humiliated. I was angry. I was frustrated. Can anybody identify with those feelings? And I said, that is it. I'm not going to live this way anymore. And I started attacking my debt. And attack is the right word. I was furious and I was ready to be broke up with it. I remember calling Capital One and telling them that I wanted to close my account. And they said, now, are you sure you want to do that, Mr. Sango? You've been an excellent customer. And I said, I'm sure I have. I've paid a lot of interest through the years. And they said, well, now, if you shut off this account, this is going to affect your credit score. And they said it kind of creepily. But I said to them resolutely, having this credit card is affecting my bank account balance. So shut it off. And so I had to turn off my credit cards. I'm not saying that's the right decision for everyone. If you can control your credit cards and use them with a plan and you never pay interest, have at it. Get all the points and miles you want. But I couldn't control mine. So I had to cut mine up. And I lived for 6 years without a credit card because I had to change my financial behavior. And I remember looking at all this debt and man, I thought this was going to take forever. But as we started to attack it, as we freed up extra money with tax refunds, and I got a couple of bonuses from work and I was able to sell some stuff, we were able to become debt-free in just 14 months. 14 months. And I'll never forget, in February of 2004, 17 years ago, we paid off our last debt. Friends, that's the last non-house, non-business debt I've ever had in my life. It changed my life forever. And when I got done with rung 4, I got to climb on up to rung number 5. I want to share that one with you. Rung number 5 is this: to build savings to a minimum of 3 months worth of expenses. Now we'll leave it there for a second because I want to share a couple of things with you. There's key words here. It's build your savings, which means you've already started in rung number 2. You've already got 1 month's worth of savings. In rung number 5, because you've reduced and eliminated your non-house debt in rung number 4, that 1 month you saved in rung 2 will cover more than 1 month's expenses now. Does that make sense? Your monthly expenses are lower now because you don't have a car payment, a truck payment, a student loan payment, a credit card payment. So now already your rung 2 savings is worth more than 1 month. Now you take the money that used to go to the debt collectors and you get to add it to your bank account. In general, it will take 6 to 12 months to achieve rung number 5. Now, when you look at rung number 5, it says build savings to a minimum of 3 months of expenses. And that's because we want it to be a minimum of that, but you can choose another number. You might have more confusing income or irregular income, unpredictable income. You may want to have 5 months worth or 6 months worth. I would say anything more than 12 months worth of expenses in your savings account is an extreme, but you can choose a number greater than 3 months. I understand many of us have money wounds. We've had challenges in the past. We have unpredictable stuff in the future, and we want to have more than 3 months worth. But for the average family, this is somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 to build rung number 5. When you've achieved rung 5, you can go up to rung number 6, which is where you can place 15% of your gross income into tax advantage investments. 15% of your gross income, that means before tax income, into tax advantage investments. We call those oxen around here. Many of you have been in one of my live events and you've heard me teach about oxen and heard my terrible jokes where I say, it's time to move and I'm trying to steer you in the right direction and that it's utterly amazing. And the jokes are just as bad tonight as they were any other time I've shared them. But we can take down the ladder for a second as I speak to you because, I want you to know that 15% of your gross income into tax advantage investments is quite simple to achieve when you're debt free except for your house. When you have a large emergency fund like rung number 5, where you have a minimum of 3 months worth of expenses saved up. It's huge. And as you put 15% of your gross income into tax advantage investments, that can be your 401k, which is tax advantaged. It could be a Roth IRA, a 403b, 457, SEP IRA, simple IRA, or a regular Roth IRA, a Roth 401k, TSP. It could also be real estate, rental real estate. It could also be a small business that is tax advantaged. It could be precious metals within certain types of retirement accounts. The whole key is 15% of your top line income before taxes and any deductions into tax advantage investments. Let's put that in real terms. If your household income is $50,000 gross income, 15% of that is $7,500. If your household income is $100,000, 15% of that is $15,000 or $1,250 a month. Imagine what life looks like when you're on rung number 6. After you're done with rung 6 and you've got that automated, then you go to rung number 7, which is where you get to focus on paying off your house. And if you have business debt, you pay off business debt. This is a wonderful, monumental achievement. This is a moment that I achieved when I was 38 years old, when I sent the last house payment in January of 2013. And it was an amazing moment where we paid off that house, and it was a high five moment with Jen Sangle. We were so pumped, and the freedom that we felt was tremendous. Pay off your house and business debt. I want you to imagine with me what that looks like. We have a member of our team who's 6 months away from that goal, and it's an incredible thing, and we're going to celebrate when they do so. Paying off house and business debt is one of those milestone moments in your financial journey, because how much money do you need to live really? How much money do you need to prosper really when you have no debt at all? No car debt, no truck debt, no credit card debt that's not paid off each month, no student loan debt. You don't owe any parents or siblings or anybody. You don't even owe on a house. Man, you don't need a lot. And then you can go to rung number 8, which is where you can place 30% of your gross income into tax-advantaged investments. 30%. That's easy to do when you take your house payment, and you'll still be able to live on more money. Place 30% of your gross income into tax-advantaged investments. This is just an expansion of whatever you've done in rung number 6. Perhaps more diversified. Maybe you've only invested in mutual fund investments when you're in rung 6, and now you've expanded to individual stock investments in rung number 8. Or you've added rental real estate, or maybe you've added a small business. Whatever it might be, rung number 8, I like to say, when you achieve it, you're positioned not only to bless many, but you're positioned to bless the multitudes. And it is a wonderful moment. And then, my friends, you get to climb on up to rung number 9 and live a fully funded life. When you live a fully funded life, friends, you are able to prosper. You are able to sleep better. You are able to have more security, peace in your life. A fully funded life is one in which you get to look at the dreams that you have in your heart and know for a fact that you are making progress towards them. And so I want to put this ladder up there, and I want you to ask yourself this question. And then we're going to move into some opportunities to be able to answer some more detailed questions that I'm commonly asked. Where are you at on this ladder? Like, for real. Which rungs have you completed? Which rungs have you partially completed? Which rungs have you skipped? And so I really want you to think about this because it's important. One of the common mistakes that happens is that people try to skip rung 4. What is rung 4? Let's put it back up there. It's to eliminate all non-house, non-business debt. Many people who are struggling are so frustrated with their debt, and so they skip rungs 1, 2, and 3. They don't take time to write down their goals. They're just foaming at the mouth to get done with debt. They're so frustrated with it. They're sick of it. They don't save money. They don't start with 1 month of expenses, and they don't invest anything in their company retirement plan. And as a result, every extra dollar goes to debt. In fact, you may be watching this event and you're getting ready to get a tax refund, and your mindset is you're going to use it to kill some of your debt. But you haven't taken time to write down your goals. You haven't taken time to put any money in savings for those unexpected, unplanned emergencies. And you are not investing in any type of retirement fund or tax advantage savings. And as a result, you go to rung 4 and every dollar goes to rung 4, but you have no money in savings. Yet life is going to happen. See if this has not happened in the past. Life's going to happen. The car's going to break and it's going to cost money. Your kids are going to get sick. You're going to have a medical bill. You're going to have the roof leak, but only when it rains. You're going to have to leave town and go on an emergency trip to visit someone. Life's going to happen. An appliance is going to die. And your kids are going to go outside and say, hey, you all watch this, and you're going to get a medical bill. And here's what I know. If you skip rungs 1, 2, and 3, you're going to end up on rung 4, and you're going to constantly be knocked back off the ladder. And so let me ask you a question as we take the ladder off the screen for a minute. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been there in that never-ending cycle of getting some progress with debt and then getting knocked off the ladder, so to speak, and falling flat on your face? And getting this surprise expense, and boom, there you go. And then you start making some more progress, and then you fall again, and then you're dusting yourself off saying, whoo, that was tough. Got a few black eyes, and I've got a busted lip. I'm going to try to get this rung 4 done again. And then here comes another bill, and you're knocked off again. It doesn't take too many cycles of that for you to give up entirely and just say, I just can't ever seem to get ahead. My friend, can I encourage you? You can get ahead, but you must take your steps in order. I encourage you, go back, spend some time to write down your plans, hopes, and dreams. Even if you're on rung 7 or 8, I encourage you to update your plans, hopes, and dreams. Prioritize savings, and then invest enough to capture the full company match in your retirement fund. If you're in your 30s and you're watching this event, delaying a contribution to get the company match for 5 years is a $250,000 difference at retirement. So I encourage you, don't skip rungs. Would you skip rungs on a real ladder? You know, the only time I can imagine that happening where someone would run up and try to jump on the fourth rung is when the Sango boys are together and we're daring each other to do it. How does that usually work out? Well, it usually ended up with an emergency room trip. It usually ended up with somebody hurting. And so I encourage you, the same thing will happen if you keep trying to jump on rung 4 of the financial ladder. You'll keep having to go to the financial ER. I don't want that to happen anymore for you. This is how you can have a stable, calm, peaceable climb up the ladder to your fully funded life. Now, I have some common questions that we're asked that I want to share with you. One question is, I want to purchase a home. What rung should I be on? That, my friend, is a great, great question. Let's show you the ladder. I like to say this. As long as you don't jeopardize 1, 2, or 3, and you still make progress on rung 4, you're ready to buy the house. As long as that house does not jeopardize your goals that you've written down in rung 1, and I know many times it helps you achieve one of those goals, and then save money. Start with 1 month of expenses, right? Now, I want to be clear. If you're looking to buy a house, you can't use rung 2 money for the down payment. The down payment is a known upcoming expense that is foundational to the ladder. We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't touch the emergency fund as your down payment money. Anybody who owns a house can comment right now on Zoom that a house, it will bring more financial emergencies. Amen. Okay. And then rung number 3, I want to make sure you don't jeopardize investing in your retirement account. I want you to get that company match. Because if you do that, and you've got rung 1, 2, and 3 in place, and you're in the middle of rung 4, go buy the house. And you'll be able to achieve one of those things that is part of your fully funded life. Millions have done it. This is how you can do it in a way that is safe and enables you to prosper financially long term. Let me tell you another question that I receive a lot. This one is, I have a lot of debt. Shouldn't I focus on paying that off before I start investing or saving? It's a great question, isn't it? And you know, a lot of people have a lot of debt and they really want to tackle that debt. But as I shared, you don't want to skip saving or investing because investing will cost you a lot of money at retirement. If you skip it, you'll miss out on free money. Plus, we just proved that if you don't save money, you'll just keep falling off the ladder. You'll just keep getting drugged down off the ladder. So I encourage you, think about this word, rungs, steps, go in order. You wouldn't jump up on rung 4 or 5 of a ladder for real. Don't do that on the financial ladder. Here's another question. Joe, I'm doing very well. I'm on rung number 7. Interest rates are at record lows. Shouldn't I just pay the regular mortgage payment and skip on up to rung number 8, invest all of my extra money? This, my friend, is a great question. Congratulations on being on rung number 7. And interest rates are indeed at record lows, which, side note, time out. Come close to the camera here. Hey, listen, if you have a mortgage and you haven't refinanced, I should urge you to look into that. Interest rates are at all-time record lows, and that can be a big deal. What I would tell you is don't reset it back to a 30-year note if you had it. Like if you've been paying on a 30-year note for 10 years, refinance to a 20-year note. You'll probably have the same payment and pay it off in 15 years. Does that make sense? You may be able to switch to a 15-year from a 27 years remaining on a mortgage and still pay it off with almost the same payment. So good side note. But anyhow, if you're at rung number 7 for real and you're focused on paying off your house, because interest rates are at record lows, I would encourage you to choose rung 7 or rung 8. That's right. It is okay to skip rung 7 and focus on rung 8 and fill up those 30% investments. Either one is a great decision. In fact, the way I say it is if we can get everybody to rung 7 and they're having to choose between paying off the house really fast or investing a whole bunch extra in their investment, tax advantage investments, can we say we've all won? Like for real. Both of those are great decisions. This is not a bad decision versus a good decision. It is a better versus best decision for each of you individually. It just depends. If you're getting ready to go into retirement, hey, paying off the house can make a lot of sense. If you have a long time before retirement, it may make sense to just fill up those retirement accounts. That's a great question. Now listen, one of the things that I wanted to point out is that every ladder needs to have a solid foundation beneath it. Think about it. If you're climbing a ladder, don't you want it to be solid underneath it? I recently was reminded of this because it was December and we decided to do our spectacular illumination of Christmas lights around the house. And so I pulled out the extension ladder and I went up the extension ladder and I put those little special clips on the gutters, and we had the icicle lights. We like the white icicle lights. And I'm hanging them up there. And let me tell you, before I went all the way up the ladder, I made sure that we had a solid foundation under it. In the areas where it was a little wobbly, I got my son out there to help hold the ladder for me. And it provided great comfort to me that he was holding the ladder and that it gave stability on my climb up the ladder. And so let me talk to you about some common foundational elements. Now, in my book, I write a lot about this, but I'll just share it here. And in just a second, I'm going to share our huge announcement that I am so fired up about. But I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You'll have to guess. But anyhow, every ladder has to have a solid foundation beneath it. So I wanted to just share some foundational elements of the ladder, maybe 4 or 5 of them. One of them is having appropriate insurance. Maybe your next financial decision is to get appropriate insurance. You could be on rung number 7 of the ladder, but if you don't have medical insurance, you could have a health event that knocks you completely off the ladder. You may have rung number 6 done and working on rung 7 and become disabled, but not have disability insurance, be knocked off the ladder. I encourage you to have insurances that make sense for you. I'm going to list the ones that I carry that I think are necessary for you. One of them is health insurance. Hey, it's expensive. It's far more expensive to not have it. Health insurance, auto insurance. If you're driving a vehicle around, good chance it's going to bang into something someday, or something's going to fall on it, or something's going to happen. Auto insurance, home insurance or renter's insurance. You want to make sure you insure your stuff. And then the 4th type is disability insurance. As a person, you're 3 to 4 times more likely to be disabled for 90 days or longer than to die before age 65. Most of us know someone who is disabled for a while. I have a family member who was disabled at work and was never able to go back to work. But because they had disability insurance, it didn't train wreck them financially. And then the final insurance is life insurance. If you have people relying upon you for income or major debt obligations, I recommend 20 to 30 year level term life insurance. It's a great, stable form of the ladder. And I recommend having 10 times your annual take-home pay in that 20 to 30 year level term life insurance. The next foundational element is a budget, monthly budgeting. You know, I got to talk to you, everyone here. We just did a money survey and I was just sad again. You know, I asked all these people that we've met at events. I've met so many of you at events and live online events. And we asked you, and hundreds of you responded. And when I asked the question, I was so hopeful, y'all, that how many of you live and operate by a budget every month? Man, I was hoping for 90%, 93%. Yeah, we ended up under 50%. And I take that as a personal front. I thought I was fired up enough to teach you to do a budget every month, but it turns out it's challenging. And so, man, you got to have a budget. I know you agree with me that you need one. I think it's important for us to think about what habits can help us get one for real. Like in 2021, that we would be able to look back, because I can tell you with all integrity, I put together my first real budget that worked in July of 2003. I'm getting ready to finish my 18th year of every month preparing a budget with Jen Zangle, approving it and doing our best to follow it. A monthly budget stabilizes your climb up the ladder. The next one is giving. Giving. In about 3 minutes, I'm going to wrap this up and be able to tell you about my big announcement. But giving is such an important element of life. Giving gives you purpose. Giving gives you passion. Giving comes with energy. This is for your church, for causes you really want to support, for your neighbor, for friends, for people that are struggling, especially in times like now. My bride and I, we put giving to our church first, the full tithe, and then we put second a line item called intentionally bless others. Every month we pull cash out on an envelope for our intentionally bless others. And it turns out when you put a line item in your budget called intentionally bless others, you will have opportunities to intentionally bless others. Man, it gives joy to our heart to do so. It's a great foundational element of the ladder. The next one is saving for what we call Qs, known, upcoming, but non-monthly expenses. These are things that are not emergencies, but they will be if we don't save for them. But they're not monthly, so they tend to sneak up on us quietly, and then they pounce on us like a puma and train wreck our financial journey. Things like Christmas, homeowners association fee, property taxes, annual insurance premiums, vacations, car repairs and maintenance, your car tires, your brakes, an appliance replacement, a home improvement project. See, these are things you know are coming, but they're not monthly, so they tend to sneak up on you. Special days and birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. And so we have a known upcoming expenses calculator where my bride and I, we convert this to an every paycheck expense, and we just save for it every month. It's not Rung number 2 or 5 savings accounts because it's not emergencies. It's known upcoming expenses. And this is the greatest thing that we learned behind budgeting that helped us with our money. And the fifth one that I want to share with you is wise counsel. We need wise counsel. Let me ask you a question. Who do you have in your life that can help you win with your money? Who can you trust? Who is it that is really helping you win with your money? Do you have someone that you can go to and ask questions when you have questions and know that you're going to get an answer that is best for you instead of best for the wallet of the person or organization you're asking? You see, you need wise counsel. Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. And it's so important for us to think about that. Proverbs 4:7 says, the beginning of wisdom is this, get wisdom. Though it cost all we have, get understanding. And so before I make my big announcement, which I'm going to make in 1 minute, I want to go back to the ladder and I want to show you this ladder one more time. My commitment to you is to help you identify your next financial step. So I want you to look at this ladder and I want you to identify all of the rungs that you may have skipped. You can screenshot this. You can download a copy of the ladder at iwasbrokenowimnot.com/ladder. Which ones have you skipped? Okay. Now, which rungs have you accomplished? You can put a check mark next to them. Okay, you ready? Now, whatever rung you've completed at the highest, make sure you go do cleanup, especially setting those goals, and then look the next rung up. That next rung is your next financial step. That's the next thing to focus on. Remember how I was asking all those questions? Should I save money or kill debt? Do you see how the ladder helps clarify that? If you haven't achieved rung 2, well, your next step is to save money. If you're getting a tax refund, you should save money. You get a bonus, you should save money. You get extra money, you should save money. You should pay minimum payments on your debt because you're not at rung 4. However, if you have rung 1, 2, and 3 done, now's the time to start attacking the debt. Does that make sense? That's your next step. And so I want to make our exciting announcement, and then I'll open it up for questions. I'm so fired up about this. Now, I want to ask you some true or false questions. I always liked true or false when I was in school because it gave me the opportunity to at least have a 50% chance of getting it right. So true or false, you will achieve more with money if you have a proven and time-tested financial roadmap to follow. I think we would all agree the answer is true. Here's another question. True or false? You will achieve more with money if you receive wise counsel from an experienced and trustworthy money coach. I think you'll agree with me that that's true. And so here's the more difficult questions. These have open-ended answers. They're not true or false. They're open-ended. And those questions start with 2 words, where and who. Where and who. Let's talk about those questions. Where do you find a proven and time-tested financial roadmap? Like, where do you find that? And who is an experienced and trustworthy money coach? Where and who? These are very important questions. Listen, if you want to make massive improvement in your finances, you will not wander your way there. And I found in my life that I had to have money coaches who would give me that left foot of fellowship, that motivation, that energy, that equipping, that encouragement, the discipline to take a next step. I mentioned all those questions, they run around in our heads. And if we're not careful, we'll be paralyzed by them. Is this a good deal? My spouse isn't on board. What do I do with my tax refund? Should I refinance? What's a good deal on a refinance? I want to give money away. I don't know what to do. And if we're not careful, we'll allow these questions to swirl in our mind and shut us down. You see, it's clear we all need a financial roadmap, and we all need wise counsel. And that brings me to my exciting announcement. I am so fired up to announce something brand new offered by I Was Broke Now I'm Not, called Fully Funded Life. Fully Funded Life. And I want to tell you what Fully Funded Life is about. It's 4 things that start with the letter C. It is courses, it is challenges, it is coaching, and it is community. Courses, challenges, coaching, and community. And you can check it out at fullyfunded.life, but I'm going to explain it here real quickly and then open it up for any questions. Let me tell you about the courses. See, courses are for the education side of things. I just referenced Proverbs 4:7 that says the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. There's another verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12 that says, money is a shelter, wisdom is a shelter as money is a shelter. But the advantage of wisdom is this, that it preserves those who have it. And so we have a lot of courses in here, and they're literally like online classes where as you progress through them and you check boxes as completion, it will monitor your progress, percentage complete until you're done. And then it allows you to notify us and you that you've completed the course. And it opens up other courses. We have the easy budgeting course, the exactly zero budgeting course. We have the Rung 1 course. And then we have courses all the way through Rung 9 that do deep dives into each rung of the ladder. So no matter what rung of the ladder you're on, we're going to have courses that help you make progress in that rung. Okay? And then we have the Budgeting Your Way to $1 Million course. Some of you remember us, that's a fee-based course that we launched last fall, but it's included in the Fully Funded Life. And then there's courses that are immediately available, and then new content is being produced and released multiple times a year. I want you to think of this as a miniature version of like Netflix, where we are releasing new content, new produced content, video content, online content throughout the year so that it's right now relevant to your money journey and to the current world events as it relates to money. Valerie said, as part of one of our classes, my car just broke down last week. It needed nearly $1,000 of repairs and maintenance. And guess what? It wasn't scary at all. I had the money and it felt great. And that's great. And that's what we expect to happen with people who are living fully funded lives. It has challenges. Now, we really love challenges because challenges give you the ability to focus on a specific skill set or tool and master it in short periods of time and make massive progress. We have the budgeting challenge. Many of you have been a part of it. We have the savings challenge where we challenge you to be able to save $1,000 in your budget right now. Most people achieve it. We have the investing challenge where we help equip you to become a confident investor. We have the debt elimination challenge where we focus on eliminating a debt really fast so you can really achieve Rung 4 much more swiftly. The My First Stock Investment Challenge where we help you get comfortable enough to buy your first ever stock. And these challenges are offered to the entire Fully Funded Life community so that we go through them together, again, at no additional cost. Stephen shared, after hearing Joe, my wife and I decided fully to take his advice. Within 5 days, we managed to make a budget work the ladder to Rung 4, close 20 credit accounts, getting rid of $70,000 in potential debt, and have a plan on closing $100,000 in true debt within 5 years. He was fired up. That's what we like to see in our Fully Funded Life. We have coaching, and this is the who. I'm asking you to hire me and to hire our certified I Was Broke Now I'm Not coaches, the Fully Funded Life coaches, to help you. We have something called open office hours, a couple times a month where you can reserve time to meet with me and other members of our team to ask your personal financial questions in a confidential Zoom call just like this. We also offer live members only online meetings where if there's something happening, I'm going to be live with the members helping us navigate it. Something like what happened in March when the market collapsed, when it roared back. Maybe it's something that's relevant to debt. Maybe it's relevant to interest rates, but it's coaching that is included in every fully funded life membership. Those coaching sessions with fully funded life coaches are available. You can reserve time slots. We use Calendly, where you can see what slots are available, which ones match up with yours. When you reserve it, it'll put it on your calendar. It'll lock it in with ours, and we'll be there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, even if it's later in the day, to be able to serve you and help you with your financial questions. Matthew shared in 1 month's time, we were able to not only pay all our bills on time, but catch up on past bills, get my wife's car fixed, and rent a car while it was in the shop, use our bonus as an actual bonus, take a short unplanned vacation, and we currently have something we never had before, a buffer in our checking account. And see, that's what this is all about. And ultimately, it's about community. You know, we're going to have people from all over the world join this, no doubt about it. But here, and we'll be different. We're going to be from different walks of life, different regions of the world. But there's going to be two things in common with fully funded life members. One is we're all committed to living a fully funded life. And number two, we're willing to embrace the uncomfortable financial decision-making that will help us achieve that fully funded life. You know, I want you to think of these words when it comes to community. The word inspiration. We're going to inspire each other as we make progress, and we're going to encourage each other and cheer you on when you've encountered a setback. We're going to provide this great thing of opportunity to be able to participate together in challenges and to be able to, some of you, as you do this, you're going to become so fired up about this, you're going to want to become one of our fully funded life coaches. And we'll be opening up positions for that as we go along. We're going to be celebrating your successes, and then we're going to be sharing whatever worked for you. If you find a way to save money, we want you to be able to share that with other members of the community. If you've been able to have a great experience on buying something, or if you were able to successfully refinance, we want you to share those successes so that we can all be able to enjoy that and celebrate that with you. So that's what fully funded life is about. It also has additional benefits such as featured savings tips, top quotes and verses. When you log in, they'll be right there on the sidebar. It actually will have your name there. It'll have your top 3 financial goals, your goals there. It'll also have the rung that you're currently working on to remind you. And of course, we'll highlight certain financial tools, and all new courses, all new challenges, and all online training events are provided to members at no additional cost. We're fired up about it, as you can tell, and I encourage you to check it out at fullyfunded.life. Now, when we go and look at the added cost of all these classes, coaching, one-on-one coaching with certified coaches, the membership value is about $497 a year, and we could absolutely charge that, and I know some of you would sign up, but I want to make sure it's affordable and accessible to all, and it will require an investment, but for you as a member, you're going to be able to have access to 3 bonuses when you sign up today. And let me tell you about the 3 bonuses. One of them is you're going to get access to all 11 of the ebooks we've written, including How Do I Budget? How Do I Build My Credit? Selling a Car with Negative Equity. And our hope is that you take this as part of your community benefits and you share it with other people at your workplace, with your friends, with your family members. And then you can invite them to be a part of the fully funded life community. You're also going to get the digital audiobook of my book, I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. So you're going to be able to get that the instant you join Fully Funded Life. You're going to be sent this digital audiobook so you can listen to the foundations of money. Chapter 4 talks all through the ladder again, teaches how to budget, how to get debt free, how to invest, the detailed stuff on insurance, and how to sustain it for the long haul. And then bonus number 3 is you get a charter member discount. And that is not $497 a year, but it's $99 a year. So for about the cost of one of these online entertainment subscriptions, you're going to get access to live events throughout the year, to all of our courses. You'll be able to join the challenges. And you're going to be part of community. And more than anything, you'll have access to coaching where we can coach you along the way, answer your individual questions, and help you prosper. I think you'll agree with me that this is something pretty phenomenal, and there's no one else that's offering anything like this, where you have access to the team, where you can have the human that you know by name that can help coach you. The 2 times guarantee that I want to give you, because you say, hey, is this guaranteed? Absolutely. This is a cancel at any time. And if you join Fully Funded Life and you don't experience an improvement to your personal financial situation, watch this, by at least twice your membership investment within the first 12 months, we'll refund twice the amount of your investment back to you. That's how much we believe in this. And so we encourage you, give it a shot. And when you join, I think you're going to quickly agree, this is going to help you just leap up this ladder. It'll almost be like you're skipping rungs because you go through them so fast. You know, somebody shared this. They didn't want to share their name, but they said, we owned our own business and never thought we could ever be on a budget. And this plan helped us greatly. Before we started, we owed $90,000 to the IRS with no hope to pay it down. Watch this. They received encouragement. Now we're less than a year away on the 5-year plan of having that debt gone. I once was broke and now I'm not. I love that. So you may be thinking this, and then I'm going to open up for Q&A. You may be saying, I don't have the time for this. Well, the beautiful thing of this is it's at your own pace. Yes, we'll send you encouraging emails if you haven't logged in a while. We'll tell you about new content. But here's what I know. You have the time because you want to live a fully funded life. And we've made this really brief snapshots of training. 5 to 10 minutes at a time. You can do that. You may say, I don't have the money. Well, we know most of America just received a whole bunch of cash. And maybe, just maybe, you would want to invest a little bit of that with this. And so that you can put the rest of that money to work in investments or for your next financial step, whatever that may be on the ladder. Another question or statement is, I don't trust myself to do the work. Hey, we're going to check in kindly from time to time to help you. Make sure that you do the work. But what I would encourage you to do is to set up some time on your calendar every single month to spend an hour on you. You're worth it, aren't you? I believe that you are, and I believe that you can do this. So I would tell you this, results are typical. If you apply yourself in this area of money and you increase your wisdom and you get coaching and counsel along the way, you'll look back a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years of fully funded life membership later and say, man, I've spent a total of $97 times 5 years, but I am $50,000 less in debt. I became debt-free. I've been able to increase my investments by tens of thousands. And I'm here to tell you that can happen. It happened for me. It can happen for you. With that, I encourage you to check out Fully Funded Life and be able to join right now. Doors are now open to join it. Man, I hope you'll join us at fullyfunded.life. Check it out. See if it's right for you. I think you'll find out it is. We're so excited about being able to offer this to you. And more than anything, I hope that you'll climb that ladder, live that fully funded life, because that's what it's all about. You only get one life. Make it fully funded. Good night, everybody.